All right. Why are we talking today about voice? Voice is actually not yet out of fashion. Voice still exists and is very persistent, actually across different technologies from fixed to mobile to voice assistants and actually now in AI-powered voice communication. And what we're going to do now today is really talk about how AI-powered voice communication has benefits to improve customer experience, to reduce cost, and actually increase security in financial services. I'm here today actually with Chao, and I'll let you present yourself, Chao.
Sure. So my name is Chao. I'm a director of applied science with Amazon. I've been with Amazon for about 10 years, initially working in Alexa on the speech interactive experiences. And now I lead a team in AGI Foundations, focusing on building the speech-to-speech foundation model. So I hope you've all heard about the announcement of Novasonic launch this morning, and I'm really excited to have this opportunity to talk to you about Sonic a little bit, and also about the collaboration with Vonage to use speech foundation models to build AI agents that can interact with users as naturally and intelligently as human agents.
Thank you. And my name is Christophe. I'm president of the business unit API at Vonage. And we are a company responsible for cloud communication, doing a communication platform as a service, and also network API, allowing applications to communicate with users. Now, as I said, voice is very persistent, and it has been so over time across multiple technologies. It started all with fixed voice. You could dial a human, connecting offices, connecting homes. Then it was on the mobile side. You could actually talk and communicate on the move. Then to voice assistants, actually using your voice to do a command or ask for the weather or a certain command and a response. And then now AI-powered voice, where actually you can have a real interaction with an agent, which is multi-turn and which also remembers basically your previous interactions. And why is voice persistent? It's because it's fast, it's faster than dialing, it's situational, wherever you are, and it also supports actually context and nuance and personalization. What are the benefits that we are seeing of AI-powered voice when we look at the finance sector? On one hand, there is an enhanced customer experience, so personalization actually of that is possible. It remembers your past interactions that you had. It's 24/7 available. You can always call an AI-powered agent. Voice agent is always there, and it's emotionally intelligent now. So basically, it can grasp actually frustration and can show more empathy or adapt a bit the pace and the reaction. Secondly, it results into efficiency. Which type of efficiencies? Well, of course, you can automate repetitive tasks like your balance inquiry. It's scalable in a sense that when you have peaks, for example, on the tax returns, it can absorb that by your agents. And of course, cost saving from less agents in your call center. But also important for security reasons. Why for security? Well, with your voice footprint is an ability to be authenticated. Or, of course, when there is fraud, you can be called by a voice agent when there is a fraudulent activity on your account, and this 24/7. So there is also a lot of security and compliance applications that are applicable for AI-powered voice. And also towards the future, but Chao will get more into detail on that, we will see there is an opportunity for much more proactivity and also integration with other type of channels like text, so that you have a unified customer experience, not only purely voice. Now, what are actually some of the use cases that it enables when you look at financial services? actually there's a multitude of use cases that are possible. When we look at the banking and financial services, there is actually really customer support. As I said, very basic routine balance inquiries can be done by agents. It actually can give personalized recommendation. An agent can give you a recommendation for investments, but also fraud protection. As I said, using actually your voice footprint for authentication. It can call you when there is fraudulent activity on your account that has been spotted. And it can also, of course, for compliance reasons, record certain transactions that you are having and know actually when to do that. For wealth and management and investment, other use cases are, for example, proactive recommendation for fund investments and many other engagements. On the insurance side, we could imagine actually basic claims, entering basic information around the claim can be done through AI agents, but also lead qualification. You can, by asking simple question, it could do a prioritization of leads or an assessment, a risk assessment of a potential lead in insurance. So a lot of use cases that are possible, but then comes the question, how do we do this technology-wise? And that's why we're gonna now give both a presentation on what is Amazon Novasonic enabling actually from a speech-to-speech modeling perspective and how the combination with the voice infrastructure of Vonage can make it easy for developers and enterprises to build agents in an easy way. So Ciao, I'll let you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit more about Novasonic. Novasonic is a speech-to-speech foundation model for real-time, human-like conversational AI. And maybe I can walk you through this diagram first, because that will give you an idea of why a speech-to-speech foundation model is like the future. It revolutionizes how we build these kind of agents. So the first thing when you look at this picture is how simple it is, because if you've worked with voice agents for a long time, then you'll probably be very familiar with the traditional cascade kind of system architecture, where you start with an ASR system that converts speech into text. Then you might have like an NLU system that derives meaning out of that text, and you have some kind of dialogue control that figures out how to sort of respond to the customer, and then you have a TTS system that turns the response text into speech. With foundation model, literally, you just integrate with a bidirectional streaming interface, and this interface handles everything. So you have speech coming in, and then inside this model, it's going to do streaming-based processing as soon as the speech is received by the model and the inference engine. It's going to actually generate live transcript out of the speech, and it can also generate API tool calling kind of commands if the input of the user requires that kind of communication, requires that kind of handling. And then when the tool call information comes back, the model can generate the response, incorporating the information coming back from the tool, coming back from the developer's design of what this agent is supposed to do. And then at that point of time, it's going to generate agent speech. And the beauty of this whole pipeline is that we actually have the transcript, which is the text representation of what the user said, as an intermediate output, which help grounding sort of like what you what the agent think the user is saying. So it brings transparency about sort of like the agent's behavior in terms of how to handle this. It also is able to generate the speech, taking into account all the information that's available to this large model That includes all the dialogue history as well as the input user speech, so that the agent speech can be not only natural and expressive, but also it's paying attention to how the user is expressing themselves in addition to the content of what they say. That way, the agent's behavior will be a lot more empathetic and human-like. So I just want to walk through a little bit of this. So essentially, with this architecture, you can do very fluid dialogue handling and natural turn taking. By that, what I mean is as soon as the user finishes speaking, the system is going to make a determination to say, oh, the customer finished speaking, and it's going to start responding. But if the customer interrupts the agent responses, it's going to stop almost immediately and to listen to the customer and then respond to what they said next. We also are very proud of our speech recognition performance, and you probably see in this morning's presentation, keynote presentation, that we achieve state-of-the-art accuracy in speech recognition. And I mentioned that we support adaptive speech responses. Adaptive meaning it's adapting to how user is speaking, not only just what they're speaking. And I mentioned that we have very expressive voices. I hope you'll show a demo that demonstrates that. And it's available in multiple languages. And because of this very simple architecture of speech-to-speech, it naturally achieves very low latency in responding. All right.
And actually what we're doing is combining the Amazon Novasonic technology with the Vonage Voice API. So basically combining the Amazon Novasonic AI capabilities and speech-to-speech models with the voice infrastructure of Vonage. So actually that it is very easy to do inbound calls, outbound calling. It can be done on multiple technologies, so it can be done on mobile apps, web apps, or the very traditional PSTN calls. So it's really the combination of the two, the voice infrastructure together with Novasonic, that makes it actually easy for enterprises, for developers to build agents. And that's what we really try to do by that partnership, by that combination, is to make it easy for developers to build agents for the future. But of course, we want to demo this. This is always better than explaining slides and how it could work. So let's have a little sneak peek on how that can work.
Hello, this is your financial services assistant. For your security, please say the phrase, "My voice confirms my identity."
My voice confirms my identity.
Authentication is complete and secure. Hello, how can I assist you today?
What is my current savings account balance?
Let me retrieve your current savings account balance for you. Your savings balance is $23,540.15. Let's switch to your investments. Your portfolio is doing quite well this year, with a total value of $512,040.75, which is up by 6.2% year to date.
Okay, let's schedule a call with my financial advisor. Can you help me with that?
Certainly, I can help you schedule a call with your financial advisor. Let me check the availability for next week. It looks like your advisor is available on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Would that work for you?
Do you have any openings for Wednesday?
Let me check the availability for Wednesday. It appears that your advisor is available on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Would that time work for you?
That works.
Great. I've scheduled a meeting with your financial advisor for Wednesday at 2 p.m. You will receive a confirmation email shortly.
All right, so that's how it works. Cool, huh? So now, of course, we explained a bit what we have now, but maybe you can, without divulging any secrets, tell us a bit what is next, what is our...
Yeah. Well, actually, it's easy for me because we just announced Sonic Nova 2 Sonic, which is the next generation of Sonic, and let me just give you a sneak peek of the new features that we launched. So Sonic in version 1 supports English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. And with Sonic 2, we added new languages, Hindi and Portuguese, and we have an exciting language roadmap in the pipeline that hopefully we will share in coming quarters. We also added the ability, we also added what we call polyglot voices, which means the voice can speak multiple languages, even though the original voice talent were only monolingual. And this way, we can handle sessions with language switching very seamlessly. A user can literally switch between let's say English and Spanish, depending on how they feel comfortable or most naturally expressing themselves, and the same agent voice can respond in English or Spanish given that context. We also added a feature called asynchronous tool calling, because these models, they're very fast if you're just doing chit-chatting, but if sometimes you go off to do a tool call, that can take a long time. And if you're just waiting for the tool call to come back to continue the conversation, then you sometimes get stuck in this very awkward silence with the user, and sometimes the user would be wondering what's going on, because the system almost feels like it's kind of dead or broken. So we enabled this asynchronous tool calling capability where the agent can basically continue the conversation with the customer when the tool call is being executed in the background. And when the tool call, the results comes back, the agent is going to incorporate that information into the dialogue to continue sort of the conversation with the customer in a very natural way. Another feature we added is actually to add text into the speech input as well. So it's not just speech to speech, it's actually speech and text to speech and text. That way, even though we say that these are voice-first kind of experiences, having text capabilities is helpful for a lot of use cases. For example, if you want the agent to say something before the customer say anything, then you can use the text input from the developer side to prompt the model so that the model will start speaking without waiting for the user to have speech input. You can also use that capability to handle touchpad kind of inputs so that these touchpads key presses can be converted into text as input into the model. The benefit of this is all of these are seamlessly incorporated into the model as if it's just there's never loss of context or switch of context when you have different modality of input. It's all the same context information available to the model. One last feature that I want to talk to you about is the configurable turn-taking behavior. So we all like these agents to be snappy, you talk and then the agent comes back. But there are actually scenarios where users prefer the agents to be a little bit more relaxed so they don't feel like they have to talk. In case they stop, then the agent will cut them off. So there is ability to configure these kind of thresholds to be sensitivity low, medium, high, so that you can basically trade off sort of some of these latencies for just a more relaxed kind of interaction vibe. So I think that's what I can share now. Hopefully, if you watch for our Nova pages, then you'll see we always launch, update and launch new features over the course of the year.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more...
Oh, that's right. So I should mention this. So there are quite a few sessions to talk about Sonic. If you want to learn how to build with Sonic, there's a workshop, which is amazing. It's 2 hours long, and it tells you everything about how to build these kind of agents. Unfortunately, it's happening right now, so you're not going to be able to catch it, but these sessions are recorded, so you should be able to look it up, searching for keywords or the session to find, to watch it at a later time. There's these talks that are happening in the next couple of days. And also there's a breakout session which goes into 1 hour long presentation about Sonic. I hope you'll be able to catch that one tomorrow.
Yeah. And you're always welcome at the Vonage meeting room, and we have also drinks and presentation later tonight at Paris. I think some leaflets will be handed out right over there if you're interested to come and learn more. So thank you all for your attention.
Thank you so much for
Bye-bye.
attending.